What is up, guys? Alex here, DefqonVegan. So today I wanted to talk about the benefits of going vegan as a bodybuilder. There is an enormous amount of benefits that I've seen since going vegan, and there's a lot of really good scientific research out there showing why what once was thought to be the opposite of what you should do for bodybuilding is now becoming what you should do. It's becoming the norm, and there's just so many good things about it, so I'm gonna jump right into it right now with testosterone. So testosterone is something that a lot of people are worried about, and many believe that if you go vegan, all of a sudden your testosterone levels are gonna plummet and you're just gonna lose all your gains and everything. Well, that is absolutely not the case. So one of the biggest things that actually does lower your testosterone and increase your estrogen is dairy. Whey protein, cottage cheese, milk, all of it, it's not ideal for bodybuilding. Dairy contains actual mammalian hormones, not phytoestrogens, not things you would find in soy, real mammalian hormones that raise your estrogen and lower your testosterone by pretty significant levels. So one of the most immediate benefits of going vegan is the removal of dairy for your diet, which is an actual growth fluid produced by a female cow to just blow up a calf with as much fat and mass as possible. Not good mass, like just growing an animal. And it's not even our proper hormones to be taking in. It's way off of what our mother's like actual breast milk would be giving us, and it's just not really designed for human consumption. So moving on from there, one of the alternatives, soy milk, or just soy products in general. There is so much fear about soy out there, which I had too when I first went vegan. I didn't know about it. Soy is not gonna give you man boobs. It's not all women would be drinking soy. That's not what it's about. Soy has isoflavones or isoflavones, or better known to most people as phytoestrogens. Most people see that word estrogen, they panic, they think, oh, this is gonna turn me into a girl, or I'm gonna lose all my gains, or I'm gonna get man boobs. So phytoestrogens are not consumed by our body. They are a plant species of estrogen used in plant hormones that just passes through us. The only story of someone ever getting man boobs from soy is not even in medical literature. It's an anecdotal story about some guy who drank 3 cartons of soy milk a day, had some softening of his breast tissue, stopped, and got better. There isn't like all these studies out there of gynecomastia occurring in men from drinking soy or eating soy, but the dairy companies and everything latched onto this, made it public, not in like a conspiracy sort of way, it's just it benefits them directly as a business to make soy seem less appealing. If you go on Google right now and Google soy man boobs, you find all these articles from Men's Fitness, bodybuilding.com, Live Strong, don't drink soy, it's dangerous. But if you go on Google Scholar and look up estrogen and soy, you get quite a different story. Do not be afraid of soy. Soy is a fantastic protein for you, and compared to the alternative, which actually does raise your estrogen levels, even if soy raised it a little bit, it would still be a better thing to drink than dairy. Dairy scientifically immediately raises your estrogen levels. By the way, I will be linking studies below to a lot of the things I'm talking about, so if you'd like to do further reading yourself, feel free to go there, or like I said, go on Google Scholar and actually like look up scientific peer-reviewed articles, and you'll find a little bit different story than bodybuilding.com will tell you. And on the women's side of things, a lot of women are worried about soy causing breast cancer. That's something else out there. Studies have actually found that this helps reduce the risk of breast cancer and other cancers as a whole. It's a plant-based substance. It's not actual hormones coming from other mammals. So soy is a good thing. Moving on to the next major benefit of going vegan is the reduction of inflammation. So inflammation is something very negative that occurs in our body, and it's most closely monitored by C-reactive proteins. C-reactive proteins are also what they use for disease markers to see your risk of disease. They go hand in hand. C-reactive protein is a really good measure to see how much inflammation is in your body, which causes lots and lots of problems, as you can imagine. So studies were done, and when placing people on a vegan diet, that C-reactive protein was reduced by 1/3 in just 3 weeks, which is pretty incredible. And they also found that if you were to just grab a random vegan, check them out, these C-reactive proteins were significantly lower than vegetarians or omnivores who consume meat. The negative effects of inflammation begin to recede within 2-3 weeks after going on a vegan diet, which is huge. And along the same line of inflammation and moving into kind of cardiovascular health, they found that when putting patients who are at risk with cardiovascular disease on a vegan diet, there was massive decreases in recurrence, and those who stuck with it actually only saw a 0.6% recurrence of some of these negative effects of their cardiovascular disease, like heart attacks and stroke and clotting. Whereas there was a expected extremely high recurrence of these things for people who did not continue to stick with the vegan diet that they put them on. One of the patients they observed a little more closely, they looked at his actual lining of his arteries, and with these two charts here, you can see in just 3 weeks, the red being his blood flow, how much his blood flow improved in just 3 weeks on a vegan diet. Now, all these results are not necessarily expected when you go on a vegan diet, but when enough of these things are looking like the average results after studying, 100, 200 patients, these aren't just simple anecdotes of one guy did this, one guy did this. No, these are peer-reviewed studies where they're showing, on average, people can see these type of results. And then moving on to just nutrients themselves. On a vegan diet, you're naturally going to be consuming a whole lot more vegetables and beans and simple, good, complex carbs and foods. These are foods that are much more nutrient dense as opposed to calorically dense, where you're just eating oils and really fatty meats and all of that. On a vegan diet, you're consuming a much higher percentage of these nutrients in your diet. And our bodies don't naturally like to hold a lot of muscle. And this isn't necessarily just from a study, but this is just kind of common sense. When you're putting your body in a state of abundance where it knows, hey, I've got all of these nutrients coming in, all of these clean foods, I'm not having to struggle and fight through inflammation and diseases, your body's gonna be a little more willing to put muscle on and to hold a leaner physique because it doesn't feel like it's in starvation mode. It doesn't feel like it's struggling. And one thing I was worried about when going vegan is I had read up on anti-nutrients, these things in beans that are anti-nutrients that stop you from absorbing nutrients and all of that. Well, studies were done on this too, and they looked at the poop, the fecal matter of humans who were on a vegan diet and a non-vegan diet, and found that those on a vegan diet's gut biome actually changes. You start to develop more safe bacteria in your colon and through your intestinal tract, and these new bacteria actually digest these anti-nutrients and allow your body to take in all of the nutrients that they should be. Gut biome change as a whole is a really big thing as well. You start to develop more of these safety net, these protective bacteria in your gut and in your intestines that can help stop things like colon cancer and certain diseases and bacterial infections. They actually start to develop a more safe environment in your body and allows, again, for better digestion of plant proteins and all of this stuff, and your body becomes better and better at digesting these things, and you start to pull even more nutrients out than before, making this plant-based diet that much more healthy. And finally, just moving on to the price. I've saved so much money by going vegan. I've had times where I've bodybuilded, times where I've meal prepped and shopped for under 40 or 50 bucks a week for up to 4,000 calories a day even, which is something I could never do on a non-vegan diet. Meat and dairy and eggs are pretty expensive, and a lot of times you'll see these meat substitutes that are more expensive, or you'll see non-dairy milk can be more expensive. Well, that's because, again, not from this I'm wearing a tinfoil hat government conspiracy thing. You can look up the data yourselves. The government subsidizes the animal industries extremely heavily. The majority of government subsidies towards farming goes towards animal agriculture and dairy, and they don't put their money into the growth of plants. As a result, these farmers who grow plants have to charge more for their products, whereas these dairy farmers and these like slaughterhouses and everything don't have to charge as much because the government pays them billions of dollars. There was just recently like over $1 billion bailout to the dairy industry because they're struggling, because these facts are coming out. These are becoming more commonly known. So at first, things are a little more expensive as far as like milk replacements and meat replacements, but that is something that you will be seeing change over the next couple years. This movement is growing massive, and people are realizing that you can build muscle on a vegan diet. So this is something I wanted to share with you. I'm really passionate about this, as you can imagine. I've learned so much in my over 2.5 years of going vegan and building muscle on a vegan diet. So feel free to reach out in the comments below. I would love to answer any questions you have. If you're a vegan yourself and you feel like I missed something, leave it in the comments below. If there's enough of those, I can make a follow-up video to this. But thank you so much for watching. Like up this video. Again, drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if I missed anything, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. That is all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Eat plants, get huge.